Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the live Q&A session for childcare and early years. I'm Alex. I'm one of the marketing team here at the SMB Group, and I'm joined tonight by Victoria, Georgina and Carol, who are going to talk us through all the courses that we have available, the full-time courses and the apprenticeships. So please ask any questions that you have in the chat box and we'll get those answered for you. I'm going to pass over to Victoria now, and she's going to give us a bit of an overview of the full-time level 2 and 3 courses. So over to you, Victoria.
Hi everybody, good evening. Nice to see you all today. Hopefully that you're staying nice and dry. I mean, it's quite nice that we haven't had to go out and venture into the horrible weather that's out there today. So my name is Victoria Cochrane. I'm course tutor for level 3 early years at the Melton campus. I've been there for nearly 13 years now, so quite a long time, and I've seen many students come through the doors and leave us as fully qualified early years practitioners. So the level 2 and the level 3 courses here at Brooksby Melton College are really very, very specialist and very good. They're very detailed. They require you to have lots of knowledge and understanding of how to work with children and the best ways of doing so. And they also give you the practical experience of working with children. So both the level 2 and the level 3 courses enable you to go out into the workplace setting. So that could be preschools, day nurseries, schools, childminders, and actually work alongside professionals and learn the skills that they have for the job role that you're trained to do. The other side of it is that you come into college and we help you to understand why we do things. For the level 2, we focus a little bit on policy and procedure, the best way to do things, and how to work towards becoming a level 3 practitioner. Level 2 is a natural progression on, but you do not need to start at a level 2 course. If you have the entry requirements to get onto the level 3 right from GCSEs, you can become a level 3 practitioner on the course. So that's one of the entry requirements for us, is that we would require you to have 5 GCSEs at grade 4 or above, and we would require English and maths to be those GCSEs as a 100% definite to be able to get you onto the level 3 course. Georgina, would you like to give a little bit of an overview of your apprenticeship side of things and introduce yourself?
Absolutely. So my name's Georgina Pearson and I deliver the early years apprenticeships. Now these differ to the course Victoria was just explaining to you, because for an apprenticeship you are actually employed in the childcare industry. So unlike the full-time FE course, you would be at your place of work for 30 hours a week, and that could be employed in a day nursery, a preschool, along with a childminder. So there's a whole host of different childcare settings that you can get employment in. So you have to actively look for a apprenticeship. So it's like going out and looking for a job role. And when you have secured that, it is then our responsibility as a college, when you contact us or your employer contacts us, to come out and get you registered to do the apprenticeship and start your learning for your diploma. Now we do only do the early years educator level 3 now. We used to do the level 2, but it is just the level 3 apprenticeship that we are now doing. Now for the level 3 apprenticeship, you do require your grades 4 to 9 in maths and English. However, if you do not obtain those grades, you are invited to come into college and do what is called a diagnostic assessment to have a look where you're currently sitting at your levels for the maths and English, and then we can discuss delivery at the college to support you to then gain your equivalent through functional skills to pick up if you haven't already achieved these. So we'd look at your levels and see what kind of input you would need, and then talk to you about your needs and requirements for accessing the course. The functional skills are delivered in the evening. That may change due to COVID at the minute, but it was currently on a Tuesday evening. They were delivered. At the minute they are all remote, so all our apprentices have their link through Teams, and they can access different times which is more suitable for them for their maths and English. So the apprenticeship is different, and there are sites you can access which we can provide as a college more information on how to actively seek for those apprenticeships as well.
Thank you. We have a huge amount of questions coming in actually. So Victoria, well actually, yeah, Victoria, I think this one's probably aimed at you, the first one. Do I need to buy uniform or any kit for college or work experience?
Okay, so for the college-based course, the FE courses for level 2 or level 3, we have a course textbook that we recommend that you purchase, and that can be easily sourced off Amazon. We don't let you know what it is this early on in the game, just in case there's a new release or edition, but that normally works out at about £20. We also have a uniform that you wear when you go out into placement. So it consists of black trousers and black shoes, and a polo shirt that looks very similar to this, only it would have the student logo as opposed to staff. And we also recommend that you have a hoodie as well. It's quite nice, quite warm. It means that if you're doing your painting action or putting and sticking, when you're out in placement, it doesn't matter if you get a little bit mucky, because these are your work placement clothes. But also it helps to identify you as a student when you're out in the workplace setting, so that people don't take too much from you, but also so that you are guided and shown along the way to what to do. Christina, do you want to talk about the apprenticeship?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously for apprenticeships you are employed, so you will wear your work settings uniform. So that varies on obviously where you're working, what the requirements are, but your employer will be responsible for ensuring that you are equipped with the correct uniform for your apprenticeship. Just looking at the next questions.
Yeah.
So I think that's for you, Victoria. The course is full-time. What does this mean? When am I in college? That one.
Yeah. A level 2 or a level 3 course is classed as full-time. Depending on whether you are upskilling your functional skills and GCSEs alongside your level 3 or level 2 course will depend upon the hours that you're at college. The timetable is set up to allow that to happen during the daytime, so there's no requirement to come in for the evenings. But if you don't need your GCSEs, then you will have some periods of independent study time. The college step week is structured Monday to Friday. We start at 9:30 in the morning, so we give you a little bit of a lie-in, but we're very prompt at 9:30 is our start time, but we keep you a little bit longer. Our college day, the students finishes at 4:30, so the actual daily timetable is quite long, and you will be in college doing the full days from 9:30 to 4:30, 3 days a week, and out in placement 2 days a week. Occasionally we have periods of block placement where you'll go out into setting for periods of 4 weeks possibly to help you gain the experience, but it is full-time from September through till July. I'm just looking at the questions again. I can see Jessica's asked, what can I do after completing my level 3 at college? And that's a really good qualification, because it enables you to go off and do lots of different things. You could walk straight into a early years position in a nursery or a preschool as a level 3 qualified practitioner, or you could go and gain a place within a school as a teaching assistant or a learning support assistant, or even an early years practitioner in a reception class. Some of our students decide that they want to carry on and go on to higher education and look at applying to university. And we've had lots of students quite recently who've looked to go on to doing a level 4 or level 5 qualification, or have gone to do a teacher training or to begin their degree in early years. So the doors are very open to you with a level 3 qualification, and it means that you can make that decision as you go along, or it might be that you want to go and work in a nursery and have a couple of years post-qualification experience before you make that decision or that jump. That flexibility is there for a level 3 qualification. Georgina, do you want to talk about the apprenticeship route?
Absolutely. Obviously, with the apprenticeship, you're already employed. However, you'll be on an apprenticeship wage. Now, when you complete, again, like Victoria said, you will be a qualified childcare practitioner. So you can go in with the level 3 status as that qualified member of staff. Now, it depends on your employer. A lot of our employees do keep their staff once they're qualified, and you continue to work there, and you're given a more senior position within the environment that you're in. Or some of our apprentices decide to look for other job vacancies. It completely depends on where you're employed, really, but at the end of it, you do get still that employed level 3 qualified position in the setting. Chloe's put, how long are the days on the childcare course? I think you've answered that, Victoria, haven't you?
Yeah, I think I have. Yeah, I've just been looking through. I think I answered quite a few questions, all in that one.
Yes.
I did wonder whether it would be useful to talk about the types of topics that we cover in our courses. What do you think, Georgina? It'd be useful for them to know, wouldn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
So I'll start with my level 3 course. We cover a real wide range. In the first year, it's a 2-year course, you would be looking at child development, children's health and well-being, and also how to provide safe and secure environments for children. We also look at child health, so how to make sure that children are healthy and happy while they're with us, as well as the childhood illnesses that we need to be aware of. And the most important unit is looking at play and learning, how we provide activities for children and the support that we provide to help them to learn and progress in their own development. We also have an additional needs unit, which is really useful for supporting children, not only in specialist schools, but within mainstream as well. And we look at the observation, assessment and planning procedure. Now, all of that happens in year 1, and alongside it, we run a professional practice portfolio. And this is where you will be collecting evidence, building a resource file, literacy and mathematics, and also working towards the observable criteria that the course has for when you're at placement. And what that means is that when you're at placement, your assessor will come out and observe you working with the children, and you will need to demonstrate different parts, different activities and different skills are required of an early years practitioner, and we will be checking them off to say that you are competent in that job role. So that professional practice and observations happens across both years, and in year 2 we go a little bit more specialist with the units that we look at. So we have supporting emergent literacy and numeracy, and we're able to really build upon our links with our settings and do activities and really provide lots of focused activities focusing on literacy and numeracy. Sometimes we link into local settings, and we either go virtually or in face-to-face to do activities with children. Pre-COVID, we linked in with our local library, and we planned a session called Hungry Caterpillars, where we went and worked with children in the local community and provided lots of singing and activities based upon a story each week. And that's really good, and universities and employers like to see that you've done extra things to what's in the course. We also help to provide make sure that children are ready for school, and we look at theories and how they help support the early years practitioner before reflecting on our practice and working out where our strengths and our weaknesses are. So it's actually an action-packed course. There's loads of different elements and loads of different parts that you can build upon, and lots of fun and learning opportunities along the way as well. Georgina, would you like to talk about the apprenticeship? Because they're similar but slightly different, aren't they?
Absolutely. There was one question about UCAS points. Now, the course Victoria is explaining, the FE course does carry more UCAS points if you're looking to go to university. The apprenticeship does carry UCAS points. How many off the top of my head, I can't say, but if we gather your details, I can certainly get that information over to you. Okay, so there are 4 themes with the apprenticeship that we work through, and each of the theme have a number of units within them. So the theme we start with first is about health and well-being, and there are 5 units underneath the health and well-being of children. So it looks at healthy lifestyles, we look at food, we look at exercise, the physical care routines, the emotional well-being of children that we're caring for, and understanding how we support children who become unwell as well. So theme 2 is all about the legislation, the frameworks and our professional practice within early years sector. So we look at legislation around safeguarding, protection and welfare of children. We look at the legislation underpinning health and safety of the children. We also look at the legislation around equality, diversity and inclusive practice, which is obviously what you will be following and implementing throughout the whole duration. We're looking at working in partnerships and what that means, and also engaging in professional development. So for theme 3, this is the biggest theme, and this is all around preparing children for school readiness, play and development. So this underpins everything you'll be doing on an everyday basis at the setting. So we'll be looking at the value of play. We'll be planning and leading play sessions for the children, understanding how that promotes their development. We'll be looking at the environments that you're setting up and how this enhances children's play. So then we're looking at literacy and numeracy, different transitions in children's lives and how we support these. We'll be looking at speech and language development, physical development, social and emotional, how we support children with additional needs, observations and assessments that we do, and also how we observe children and support them through their learning journeys. The very last theme is the smallest one, which is theme 4, and that's all about yourself and your own professional development and practice. So how we are staying up to date, how we are constantly bettering ourselves and researching and being as good a practitioner as we can be throughout our journey.
That sounds amazing, Georgina. I'm just looking for the UCAS points that are attached to the level 3 full-time course, and I've managed to find my bit of paper with all of the information on. So it just depends upon the grade that you work towards. So if you work towards a D grade, you would only be looking to achieve a maximum of 72 UCAS points as it stands today. But if you were to work harder, the course has a maximum of 168 UCAS points for an A-star grade. So it's really down to you and how hard you work, and the assignments are graded, and each grade contributes towards your final mark. And there's also 2 exams as well, one in the first year, one in the second year, and they contribute towards a huge chunk of your grading also. I think it's something like 30% per exam, and depending on how well you do in those, and it will affect your overall score. And they are externally marked, so they are a full 20-hour open book exam where you go in with all of your resources and bits and pieces, and you will sit a assignment for under exam conditions. So the theory that you learn in college with us is really important, because that helps you to demonstrate your knowledge and understanding in the exams, but also the practical experience that you have with going out to the workplace settings will help you to give examples that support the knowledge that you're sharing there. So I hope that's answered your question a little bit about the UCAS points. Obviously they do change year on year, so you know what's happening now might not be the course that you start with in September. That gives you a rough guide of the potential progression that you can have with the I've just noticed in the questions that Chloe says that she's already doing a level 2 childcare at school, and that's really great, and it's going to be fantastic when you come to interview with us. What we'll do is we'll have a chat with you about the the subjects that you've been looking at, and also a chat with you about your potential GCSE grades as well. And then we can decide whether the level 2 course is your best option or whether the level 3 is within your grasp as well. But normally it's not a full level 2 qualification that you do at school. We can use your prior knowledge and experience to help you to transfer that onto the full level 2 qualification with us as well. I'm just looking to see if we've got any other questions that need answering. There is learning support as well at college. You will be asked that at interview, and all of that kind of gets set up beforehand. And when you arrive at college, our learning supports team are really good at helping you to identify what support you need and putting that into place straight away. So that will hopefully be a natural progression for you. And we've had somebody ask if there's anything that you can do over the summer to prepare for studying childcare. That's a really, really good question, actually. What do you think, Georgina? What would be a good thing for people to get involved in over the summer holidays to prepare for their courses?
Do you know what? If it wasn't COVID restrictions, I could give you a million suggestions, because there's so many things you can volunteer for, and clubs and groups and schools, and people generally love you going in and having your time to spend running and organising all kinds of things. But with COVID, you've really stumped me on that one.
Yeah.
There's no groups running, is there? You can't enter bubbles, you can't go and volunteer anywhere.
So it might be side tipping. Yeah. One thing that we will be doing, and for anyone that applies, is our student welcome days again, which we always do in sort of the summertime, don't we? So although it's not necessarily reading or anything like that, but that will be a really good thing for people to attend if they have applied and had an offer. Have a look out for that, because it just we normally do some like taster activities and things like that. Hopefully they'll be able to be on campus, so for a lot of people it'll be the first time they've actually been able to have a look round, but if not, they'll be done virtually again. But it just gives you the opportunity to have a little taster of what it will be like to be a student with us and get to know your tutors and potentially the other people that will be in your class as well. So I hope that helps a little bit.
Yeah,
I think another piece of reading that's really useful, Victoria, if you agree, is having a look at the early years foundation stage curriculum, because that underpins everything that you will be doing and delivering when you are working with children. And it's a really good, useful document to read and understand the kind of activities you are doing and how that supports the child through their learning journey. And that can be downloaded, and there's so many resources if you have a little bit of a Google on the early years foundation stage curriculum, and yeah, a whole host of things you can find and read about.
I've just had a thought as well. At the moment, I'm not sure whether people have seen, there's loads of free courses that are running online that you can access, looking at how to teach phonics to children, looking at how to plan activities. Loads of people are doing videos online of how to make Play-Doh. You know, all those practical things that you're going to need for the job role would be a really good starting point, as well as thinking about things that you enjoyed when you were younger and how you would potentially be responsible for implementing them with the children, and having a think about the job role and preparing yourself for the different areas of learning and how you can build up your confidence in those different areas as well, because I think that's going to be a key thing for a lot of us. We've been in our own little cocoon for quite a while now, and it's going to be a little bit strange stepping out of that and into the big wide world again. But hopefully by doing and looking at things beforehand, that would give you the confidence to make a real positive start then as well.
So we're going to have to wrap up in a second. Sorry, everyone's questions have been absolutely fantastic. There's just one question that Jessica's asked about placements, which I thought might be quite good to answer. It's, she's asked if you'll be able to help her get the placement, basically. How does that work for work experience? Do the students have to find it themselves?
So we always ask students where they would like to go first of all, and we have a placement selection form that is issued at the taster days actually. We include lots of different places that we know about, but also what's local to you. So if you've got somewhere in mind, you can pop that down and we can work with you to see if they will accept a student. We tend to look on what's close to you, where you can get to bus routes and all of that kind of thing. But we can help you most definitely in sourcing them. But apprenticeships, Georgina, they have to source their placements themselves, don't they?
Absolutely, yeah. It's a lot of my current apprentices have actually just sent their CVs out to local nurseries and just said this is what they're looking at, or even dropped them a call and said they're wanting to do an apprenticeship at college and do they have any places. And you'd be surprised how much success you can actually have from that, even if it's not straight away. If they take your details and they have a copy of your CV, as an apprenticeship vacancy comes up, you know, a lot of people have actually done it that way, and it's been very, very useful. So I would recommend, you know, just putting your feelers out to local nurseries near you, or preschools, or even schools. In a school setting, if you're doing the early years educator, you want to be working with reception to year one, so the youngest, just starting, and just put your feelers out and see what's available.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And if you find a nursery or a placement who would like to offer you an apprenticeship but don't really know how to go about that, they can talk to Georgina or the apprenticeship team that we have here, and they'll be able to give them some advice on how an apprenticeship actually works for an employer as well. Thank you, everyone. We're going to have to end it there, but I'll just quickly tell you how you can apply if you want to and you haven't already. For an apprenticeship, obviously, like Georgina said, you need to find an employer and then get in touch with us after you've got that. But for a full-time course, you can go to our website, and there are apply links all over the virtual open day pages for today, or on the main homepage of the website as well. Once you've applied for either the level 2 or the level 3, you'll have an interview, which is likely to be with Victoria or one of our other lovely tutors, and then you can ask them any more questions you might have, and they'll be asking you a few about why you want to do childcare and things like that. Once you've had an offer, then you'll be invited in for the student welcome days, like we mentioned earlier, which will take place probably at the beginning of July or the end of June. So thank you, everyone, for asking all the questions. If you do have any more questions that we haven't had time to answer, you can send them either through to us via Facebook or Instagram, or to course-inquiries@brooksbymelton.ac.uk. Thank you very much. Bye.